This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm in studio with my spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll. And of course, we are broadcasting on radio, 105.3 FM, The Beat. Bradley, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you, Mr. Monker.
I'm hot in here. I'm forced to take off my coat. Yesterday was nice and cold. And the day before was colder. And the day before was even colder. Now I come dress up.
I feel good.
You feel good, my spiritual advisor.
I feel good, Mr. Monker, and it's nice.
You're used to the sun.
I'm telling you that you're getting old, man.
No, in here it's hot.
That's your problem.
You know the sound? It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, that's a worldly song.
It's worldly? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, we can't sing worldly sound.
Yeah, that's sinful, man.
This is powerful.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, in Freeport, Grand Bahama, or in East End, Grand Bahama, somewhere in Grand Bahama, Satpal Dana, the erstwhile president of Oban's. He showed up and he met with the Negro population. And I got a story that I'd like to read to you, which was written in-house here at our TV news station. You know, we got TV news station, right? And radio news. It's called E-News. So let's see what the story says. It's written by a Negro lady who is a descendant of Black Village. Genia Noel Ferguson, okay? Her whole family hails from Black Village. The story goes like this. Tempers flare in an explosive town hall meeting in East Grand Bahama Thursday night as Oban's Energy's president, Satpal Dana, for the first time addressed residents on the proposed $5.5 billion oil refinery and storage facility. It was a standing room only event inside the St. Nicholas Anglican Church Hall, where the pendulum quickly swung from job creation for East Grand Bahamians to the environmental impact on the proposed construction site. Chief among the concerns for residents was the trustworthiness of Dana and other company executives even after non-executive chairman Peter Kruger resigned following the fallout from the heads of agreement signing with government. Dana was asked outright by irate residents who were not in support if and why he resigned from the company. Why did you resign and wipe your website clean? What do you have to hide and how can we trust you? One resident asked. Dana was quick to explain that he made no official resignation. It was a critical move because the company needed more managers to move ahead with the company process. Dana countered, I have documents to support this that were forwarded to the Attorney General's office. There is no resignation and I am still the president. But the queries surrounding Dana and Kruger's involvement continued. Another angry resident shouted, Kruger was a fraud and you were removed and this is a bunch of malarkey. Andrea Thompson, a 45-year resident of East End, pleaded with Dana to reconsider the location of the project that he revealed will be half a mile from the Statoil storage facility. Grand Bahama already has an industrial park. Thompson said, take your development elsewhere because we don't want it. On the issues of jobs, mixed views on the project continued. Pastor Cecil Kemp, who was born and raised in East End, said for far too long, residents have been neglected and have had to suffer due to lack of opportunity. The project is here now, looking at us in the face, and some of you don't want it, he said. Freeport had their time. West End had theirs. Now it is our time. Let East End people be about their own affairs. We want and need jobs. That's what the pastor said. But according to Civil Hebron, the 600 construction phase and 250 permanent jobs upon completion promised by Dana with an 80 to 20 Bahamians to foreign ratio is simply not worth it. Grand Bahamians have endured enough debt from persons who have lived in communities near industrial parks, and we won't and refuse to sell our souls for a couple of measly jobs, said Hebron. We are no fools. Ishmael Lang added that he felt disrespected and insulted that government made the agreement without public consultation. All of this is really shocking to me, lamented Lang. The government let this process go too far without saying one word to us, and now they want us to accept it. Really, we have no other choice. According to the heads of agreement, however, if the project is not environmentally viable, it will still continue. When questioned on this by residents, Dana confirmed that the project will proceed regardless, and Urban Energies will only put in mitigating measures to decrease the environmental impact. The meeting was said to be the first in a series of meetings that Urban Energies plan to have with the residents of East End. Well, my spiritual advisor, that is very interesting.
Very, very.
There is a pastor who appears to support it. And his argument is, it is East End time. Perhaps he mean, what? How do you
Well, I mean,
do
he
it?
explained that, Freeport, it's a city that, of course, under the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And then you got West End, have some things going on. Well, I guess for some, it's time for East End, Grand Bahama to,
to be poisoned.
Well, yeah, well.
To be poisoned.
For whatever it is.
I call on the people of Grand Bahama to look at this objectively. This will have a significant negative impact on your environment and on your health. The choice is yours, See, I'm no medical doctor, and I've been so busy that I've not had an opportunity to play doctor. But as a 61-year-old citizen, I have formed certain opinions based on anecdotal evidence and based on a mature observation of my nation. There's too much cancer on the island of Grand Bahama. It's too much. What are you going to do to mitigate the circumstances of having more environmental harm? There's only one way, You have to rise up. You have to tell Menace and the other 4 Negroes who are your parliamentary representative that you do not want it. Dana is a fake and a fraud. Menace them just told us that Dana them resigned. They can't make up their mind. 1 minute, Kruger gone. The next minute, Dana gone. And I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, because Dana was supposed to be gone. But the next thing I know, I don't know what this is. I'm so sorry for my Negro people that we are faced with economic hardship, almost starvation, to the extent that we are prepared to sell our lungs, the health of our lungs, the health of our hearts, the health of our kidneys, the health of our people. What curse has God bestowed upon this nation by having you elected perhaps the most incompetent group of Negroes in the history of the country? When we look historically, we are faced for the first time in the history of the country since the days of Sir Roland Simonet, that's Brent Simonet Daddy, and Sir Stafford Sands, that we have a leader who is not an attorney. We saw it. For those of us who are mature enough to remember that Sir Roland Simonet, Brent Simonet Daddy, was not trained in the law. So Sir Stafford Sands run the UBP, and Brent Simonet Daddy got the political credit because he was the premier. But an attorney steeped in the law and who understood business in the person of Sir Roland Simonet ran the UBP. And we saw many socio-political policies and legislations that have been introduced, and to date, no one has been able to surpass that. Now, let's compare Minnis. Minnis is a medical doctor. Minnis is not trained in the law. So when Minnis takes an approach, he's not concerned about the law. He's not concerned about traditions and convention. And there is no qualified attorney at law who has the political clout and skill to manhandle Minnis and manage him the way Stafford Sands managed Brent Simonet Daddy. Sir Roland Simonet. Y'all thought I couldn't make the historical connection, eh? You got to watch out for me, because I used to attend the UBP convention as a little boy. So I know a lot about the UBP, a lot, because I have plenty UBP family, and therefore I am aware of its history. Minnis needs an attorney who has the political savvy and the legal skills to manage him, to manhandle him. He needs somebody to grab him by his back pocket and manage him, because Minnis is leading this country straight to hell, straight to economic hell. Minnis is not concerned about the people. That is what is taking place. Who in the F&M is qualified? Who? Some said Brent Simonet, but we know Brent is nothing but a picky teeth man, Toby. He's nothing but a frying pan. Some say the lying Attorney General Carl Bedell, but we know Carl lacks the political skills and the legal capacity to manhandle Minnis. Who is there? Who is going to manage this untrained Prime Minister? Remember, Pinling was skilled, trained in the law. Hubert Alexander Ingram, skilled, trained in the law. Perry Gladstone Christie, skilled, trained in the law. Minnis is not. We are seeing a repeat in our history where we had Roland Simonet, but Roland Simonet, notwithstanding that he was lacking in that level of education and sophistication, Roland Simonet was a successful businessman. At least he was clever. Paul Adley showed me how in the 50s, Sir Roland Simonet made sure that he personally got a contract from the government when he was premier. You heard me? Paul Adley showed me the budget. Show it to me, all right? So we are faced with a situation where, in the case of Sir Roland had great giants surrounding him. Stafford Sands run the government. You heard me? Stafford Sands run the government. In the case of Minnis and a bunch of scallywags, they're running the government, and there's no one to manage him. We can't count on Carl. We can't. Carl went way down in Switzerland to lie to them white people. Remember when he went there? Where in Switzerland he went? To tell lies. So he's discredited. And even if he wasn't, he lacks the capacity to manhandle. Ministers need a man to handle him, to manage him politically, economically, and in terms of the law. We are in trouble. We are in trouble. How long will the PLP pussyfoot and allow ministers to take this country on a straight path to hell? That's what's taking place. Oh, my spiritual advisor, I don't know what we can do. What are we going to do?
Well, it's another 4 years to go, Mr. Moncur. And the government did recognize its missteps in the Oban deal rollout.
They said what their misstep was?
Well, the main concern, of course, for the entire project is the the impact assessment report.
But Dunham told the Negroes last night, regardless of the outcome,
I think that's an issue, yes.
the project will go on.
It shouldn't be that big.
But ministers signed it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that
Ministers
big.
had Dr. Dexter Johnson's sister, Camille. Camille, don't tell nobody you went to Government High. Don't tell nobody you went to Government High, Camille. I can't believe, Camille, that you could do what you did. Camille, I can't believe it.
So it would appear for the most part that it seems as if most people would want to agree that they think that the government should step back
and step down.
Take a second look. Well, let's not step down. I mean, the government is in power for the next 4 years, all right? And take a second look at the project and its detail before moving forward.
How?
You know?
When the agreement is signed,
and
in the agreement, provision is made where Oban will determine where the suit and all legal disputes will be settled. You heard me? Minister got raped.
That's a part of the
Oban
agreement
raped
as well?
the Prime Minister. Every member of the cabinet sat there as Peter Kruger raped them. They were raped in broad daylight. And by his committing rape upon my Negro government, he has been successful in faxing up the country. This is Freedom March. Dunham is in Freeport. Will the Freeport people rise up and tell Dunham, go home! Go home, Dunham! You done rape ministers. Ain't gonna be no more raping here.
Freedom March with Rodney Moncur will be right back after this. Expressed by Rodney Moncur, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on 105.3 FM, The Beat. It is our newest radio station, and we are on TV. My spiritual advisor is in studio with me. My name is Rodney Moncur. Bradley Roll, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you. So, Mr. Moncur, moving forward now, I mean, it seems as if the entire country is divided with this Oban deal, right? The HOA has been signed.
Don't say HOA because I don't know what that means.
Heads of agreement.
It has been signed.
Right. But the reality is we have understood that the non-executive chairman of Oban, that's Peter Kruger, and Oban CEO, Mr. Dunham, that they have both been released of their positions or connections.
Ministers in the F&M were lying. They're still in charge.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out if, and I'm only looking at this logically, that if this is the case with these executives at Oban,
Yes.
then why is Donna having a town meeting in East End, Grand Bahama? I mean, that's the only logical question to ask. If he has no more affiliation with Oban, he's now conducting
Look,
a town meeting.
look.
And I think he has released information from the heads of the agreement that people don't know. So I guess it does beg the question, you know, what is really going on?
What is going on? This is gangsterism, my spiritual advisor. If this was not gangsterism, it would not have been confusing. This is the works of the devil. This is obia. This is underhand work. How do you determine when something is underhand? It's confusion. If this was of God, this would have been clear. This is confusion. Why is it confused? Because somebody has their hands in the cookie jar. You heard me? They can't fool me. I've seen this play before. Somebody's hands is in the cookie jar. That is why ministers could sit there and see Peter Kruger commit fraud. And he keep his mouth closed. He ain't open his mouth. He ain't say, hey Peter, you're writing down a name. That's because this is a game. Anytime you see intelligent people doing stupidness, acting in this fashion, a game is up. This is gangsterism. Now, ministers might not be aware that this is gangsterism. But whether or not he knows it or not, this is gangsterism. And an examination of records in the United States of America contradicts what ministers are saying. And I told you all, from the 4th of March, I said, listen, can't you all see what's going on? This is fraud. This is gangsterism. That's what's taking place. And ministers believe that we, the Negro people, are so hungry and desperate. Donna and Kruger would have done a sociological study of Grand Bahama. They would have figured out the psyche of the people in East Grand Bahama who was catching hell. And they recognized they could bring poison and put it in our neighborhood. Because that minister responsible for the environment, I think he is drinking too much Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary have little...
I don't know if you should go down that road.
What you mean go down that road?
Someone come in.
Is Rummy taking a sober approach to the environment?
Yeah, right. I mean, you ask...
That's the way I must ask it?
Well,
okay.
You're still being sarcastic, but...
The minister.
You know,
I used to lift him up, you know.
Yeah, but don't castigate him like that.
Romuald Ferrera. God forgive me. I regret when I used to lift you up. If I knew that you would have turned out to be like this in 1974, I would have missed and let you drop down. In fact, I ain't living up no more little children. Because if I was to conclude that they're going to turn out like Rummy, I can miss and let you drop. I used to lift him up, you know.
Why don't you pronounce the man's name properly, man?
How do you pronounce it?
It's Romel.
Romel.
Right.
Okay. I used to lift him up, you know. Every time he said me, Monica, lift me up. I look at him. I say, come. And I lift him up. Right? He was heavy. And I put him down. Monica, lift me up. And he just compete with my little brother. I got to keep lifting him up, lifting my brother. But I should have dropped you.
Wow.
I should have dropped you. Because if I drop you, you might not have turned out to be like this. You could find all the environmental damages in Marathon. But by grab, you sat right there and you wouldn't stand up. Rummy, I'm disappointed in you. Come on, sober up to the job. Sober up, Rummy, and stand up to minutes. Because this is a disgrace. I'm tired talking about this. This only can make me sin. Tired about it. Let's talk carnival. Tired of it. I hear carnival coming.
Well, I don't care for carnival.
And I want to know where KB is. Where is KB Bodie? Huh? You call the PLP a bunch of jokey leaders, eh? And you say you didn't want carnival. Well, I'm told that carnival is coming. And I'm also told that Machel Montano, the Trinidadian, who've been coming here for 2 successive carnivals, I'm told that he's here. He's going to be the star, and he's going to make plenty money. And then the woman, Destra, I'm told that she is coming too. And I can't hear from Fred Ferguson. You know Fred Ferguson, the musician? He's extremely musically opinionated. I hear from Fred. I hear from KB. KB, I need a new song. I want you to call this song, I Made a Mistake When I Voted F&M. Because you were opposed to the carnival, but it's coming. Have you heard about it, my spiritual advisor?
No, I haven't. I actually thought it was canceled. I haven't heard anything about it.
You don't go to carnival?
Of course not, man.
Well, I've been.
Christians, no one who is a Christian should be attending that fleshly, entertaining, whatever you call it.
Well, my spiritual advisor.
And I would warn you too against supporting carnal.
Listen, I must confess.
It's fleshly.
I've sinned.
A bunch of half-naked women disgracing themselves,
my spiritual advisor,
walking through the
I saw
street,
it
degrading
differently,
their human being. Huh?
I saw it differently.
Degrading their humanness, sorry.
I went to the carnival, and every time I saw the woman there, I said a silent prayer. I said, Lord,
it's too fleshly, man.
Your creation. What a wonderful creation. You mustn't look at it that way. To the pure, all things are pure.
I'll say this much. Before the sin came into the world, yes, both men and women were naked. Well, let's just say the man and the woman in this case with Adam and Eve. But then after the sin came in, the Bible says that God made some clothes out of the fig leaves and he placed it on Adam and Eve. So obviously, from that point on,
them fat women I see, fig leaf.
People were being covered.
You suggesting fig leaves?
This is what we do. We cover ourselves.
My spiritual advisor wants you to stop it.
We cover ourselves.
I take a new approach now.
I condemn carnival to the utmost.
When I see the woman there, I just give thanks and praise.
Is the government still going to be supporting carnival? Because they decided that they want to cut the...
I don't know what minister I'm doing.
Yeah. Let those who want to operate that privately, yeah, let them do that. But don't waste the people's money on a fleshly carnival parade.
You know, I didn't see the flesh.
No?
I went there, and my heart was pure.
You sinned one time and you told me you saw the former Attorney General. You remember?
Well, that's because every time I run, she seems to be running behind me. And she had a wonderful costume.
Yeah.
So carnival is coming, and I've not heard from KB. KB, what are your views now? Huh? You were opposed to the PLP having carnival. Now I'm told that carnival is coming, and it appears that there is no star role for you local Negroes. Huh? Eh? That's what I'm hearing. I'd like to hear from KB. I just thought I should mention that. Well, folks, we go back to the office of the spouse because it is a developing story. You would recall that apparently Negro leadership throughout the Caribbean, they've gotten their wives to set up what they call office of the spouse. We know that the Prime Minister's wife is now on board with the concept, and she has moved into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'm opposed to that. I believe that the wife should move into the office with a husband, because the husband could manage his wife. But I have doubts that Handfield could manage Mrs. Minnis. She's the Prime Minister's wife. And Prime Ministers are known to cut down men who they regard as being disrespectful to their wife. Why would Minnis, if Minnis is interested in building a family model for the country, why send his wife to another man's ministry? Why do that? You bring her to the office of the Prime Minister. There, she can be right there and work with the Prime Minister. Suppose Mrs. Handfield, the wife of the Foreign Affairs Minister, suppose she now won't come to work. How she can come to the work at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs when the Prime Minister's wife set up office there? I think it's irrational. But we look at it because she says she would be extending an invitation to the wife of the leader of the opposition. And the wife of the leader of the opposition, Mrs. Anne Marie Davis, she responded. It's a beautiful article written by the Nassau Guardian. Anne Marie Davis, wife of Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Brave Davis, said, while she believes women, especially those of influence, have a greater role to play or a great role to play in the advancement of the Bahamas, she is not convinced there needs to be an office of the spouse of the Prime Minister to achieve that. She said before she accepts Patricia Minnis's invitation to work with her at the soon-to-be established office of the spouse, she awaits clear, defined functions of the office. I have been very involved in charities, said Mrs. Davis, and the extent of the involvement is very far-reaching, and I haven't yet seen the need to have an office to carry out those functions, she said when asked by The Guardian. Having said that, I don't know how the role of that office that Mrs. Minnis is referring to, how that role would be defined, and whether it will be a crossover to social services, because some of what Mrs. Minnis said is what I know social services to be involved with. Mrs. Davis questioned whether Minnis intends to fill the void left by the resignation of Gaynell Curry as Director of the Department of Gender and Family Affairs in the Ministry of Social Services last December, or whether the office will be charitably driven. If it is a charitable type office, it would be better positioned to assist the NGOs in the financing that they so desperately need, and to also be the link, the umbrella company under which the NGOs come, she said. It would be very well served to be the link between those NGOs and the government in terms of getting them funding and government grants to carry out the work that they do so much in the society. Minister of Foreign Affairs Darren Handfield revealed in Parliament on Monday that the government will move forward with plans to establish an office of the spouse under his ministry in a few weeks. Speaking to the media on Tuesday, Mrs. Minnis said the proposed budget for the office is $10,000. The budget will primarily be used for tea engagements, she said. Minnis, who expressed that she is prepared to pay for efforts out of pocket, said the office is not for her, but for any Prime Minister's spouse who wants to serve. Minnis said she has no political motivation and intends to work with Mrs. Davis and other women who wish to volunteer and make the Bahamas better. The office will have an administrator to help coordinate public appearances. Mrs. Minnis said the office will be located in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, noting there will be an international presence, a hope shared by the First Ladies and spouses of heads of government of the Caribbean community, CARICOM, which formally launched its network and agenda last September. The network group identified 4 major areas of focus: reducing gender-based violence, reducing adolescent pregnancy, eliminating cervical cancer, and eliminating mother-to-child transmission of HIV and congenital syphilis. Mrs. Minnis said the focus now will be placed on non-communicable diseases. If she calls on me, I am ready and willing to take this Bahamas as far as we can and make it as better as we can, said Mrs. Davis. Though, she said, if she were to assist, that role would also need to be clearly defined. She added, I really don't want to cross over into social services because social services has to represent the country at a government level. So, to have an office with that type of role, you have to represent the country at international levels. You may do reports from the NGOs at an international level. There's a lot more involved, and there are different stages, said Mrs. Anne Marie Davis. We have to see how it is going to be laid out and set out. According to Mrs. Patricia Minnis, her efforts and the office of the spouse will not take over responsibilities of the Department of Social Services or any other organization. But she said, I can assist. I can be the voice, the face. She made clear that her office will not draft legislation or consult on proposed legislation. Mrs. Minnis has assured the Bahamian people will get value from the office. Mrs. Davis' points were reminiscent of Anglican MP Glenys Hannah Martin, who said, while she supports advocacy for women to make greater strides, she questioned what the office objective will be and what benefits it will have locally. Hannah Martin, the only female opposition member, also noted that Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, Lanisha Rowe, already has carriage of gender affairs. So this is an interesting development where the Prime Minister's wife now wishes to do charitable work, whole tea. She's going to assist with teenage pregnancy. I have a concern about that one. I have a concern about that. I think it is noble that the Prime Minister's wife wishes to prevent cervical cancer. She has my support. I think it is noble that she would want to see man and woman living good. She has my support. But I'm very concerned when I hear people talking about managing and dealing with teenage pregnancy, taking into consideration her husband's profession. We know that Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis is a gynecologist. And in our country, I've always looked at gynecologists suspiciously, even though there are many times I keep my silence. In the District of New Providence, appeared before me a Negro man who has told me how a government gynecologist voiced his woman bladder. And I was terrified. I was terrified. You hear me? So I'm always concerned when I hear these talks about pregnancy. Because when they start talking about pregnancy and its prevention, birth control is coming and abortion is coming. And we have done many abortions in this country. And the last time I've examined the penal code, abortion is against the law. But this is a lawless country. But they say they believe in women's right. If you believe in women's right and people is aborting babies, Carl Bettel would find them and prosecute them. And if gynecologists are voicing woman bladder, that must be a terrible abortion that went wrong. I'm very concerned about these things. And there's nothing wrong with a Prime Minister wife doing social services. Now you would note that this office is being called the Office of the Spouse. Why not First Lady, like in the case of the United States? And there's a reason for that. Because the First Lady in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is the Governor General. So that is why those Negroes in the Caribbean who are under the leadership of the British monarch, our Blessed Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, talk about the office of the spouse. But we have had many governors, English governors, who have done wonderful work. I tried to tell it to you earlier this week when I told you about Lady Ranfurly. She established the Ranfurly Home for the Ages. Many Negroes are not aware. Even Fred Mitchell would be shocked in what I'm about to say. I have reason to believe that Fred Mitchell may not be aware that he was left all the documents on the Ranfurly home. And somehow, mysteriously, those gifts to Fred Mitchell were disregarded. Who you think got them now? Who you think? So I want them to bother with me, because I am now the inheritor of many papers that was left to Fred Mitchell, but was dumped on the city dump. And when the people them, scavenging through the city dump, came across all kinds of documents, they sent for me. Said they want me to come on the city dump. And I said, man, I ain't coming to no city dump, man. And then lo and behold, a blessed man showed up in Black Village, and he showed me a paper. And when I saw that paper, I said to him, my brother, where this come from? He say, on the city dump. I said, let's go. And we jump in my taxi, and I head to the city dump. You hear me? Watch out for when I talk, because one man's garbage has turned out to be my treasure. I have the documents. I don't know where it is, but I do have it. And when I got time, I'll look for it so that Fred Mitchell would have a shock of his life, that I could be in possession, making politics of his garbage that was left to him by his late godfather, Lee Y. Gibson. But when the people them on the city dump was scavenging, and they came across what some call garbage, they said, Moncur, there's only one man in the whole of New Providence that we think would be interested in this find. And when I saw what they had, I went to the city dump to scavenge. You hear me? One man's garbage is another man's treasure. Oh boy, what a Friday. What are we going to do this Friday, Mr. Spiritual Advisor?
I don't know. That's entirely up to you.
Yeah?
You still got a few things to cover. When you say Friday, what do you mean? After the show? Or?
After the show.
I don't know.
And then I'm going to Harbor Island. Are you coming
You're going
with
to
me?
Harbor Island next weekend, right?
Yeah.
I think it'll be good. That's a good trip, man.
You coming?
Yeah.
Because
going
everywhere I go,
yeah.
the people them ask me for you.
Let's go down to Berlin, man.
Yeah.
That's next week, what, Friday, Saturday,
I wanna
Sunday, Monday,
I don't know.
about Tuesday.
I think the boat is going to leave Good Friday.
Okay.
Because, you know, I got to work Thursday. I don't know if we have a holiday on Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
But
I guess you'll have to find out.
I got to go down to Harbor
yeah,
Island.
sounds good, man. Sounds
To the
like a
woman
good trip.
them on Harbor Island. If it is God's will, I'm coming down. Will you all please meet me at the mailboat? Huh?
Harbor Island.
To the woman them, the children them, and the man them, I'm coming to Harbor Island if it's God's will. Will you meet me at the mailboat?
Berlin.
And that will be powerful. You hear me? That will be powerful. I don't know what this government is doing, but I need a break. And I'm told there's no break like Harbor Island. Harbor Island, I'm coming. Iceman, I'm coming. Coming to Harbor Island. If it is God's will, I'll be right back on a wonderful Friday.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on 105.3 FM, The Beat. Welcome to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. Bradley Roll is my spiritual advisor. I've just received a statement from the office of the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Senator the Honorable Fred Mitchell, and he's the opposition spokesman on immigration, and he is responding to a question that was put to the party by the Tribune, and the statement, his reply, is being shared with the media. And you know, Freedom March is a part of the media because I play journalism, okay? Fred Mitchell, I thank you for sending us the statement. The statement goes like this. Dion folks will soon test the limits of political reality when he attempts to raise the shanty towns in the Bahamas. The whole pronouncement with great fanfare, going into Abaco with a large delegation of adoring, earnest-looking public servants, made me laugh out loud. It was song and fury signifying nothing, Fred Mitchell said. There's nothing new under the sun. The PLP has been there and done that. He will have, meaning Dion folks, to fight his own party when the action hits the fan and the pushback comes from immigrants, from migrants, communities, and their allies in the country. The phony human rights activists, the facts that the least one of those activists believed that he bought the election for the FNM will make it doubly difficult. He's talking about Fred Smith. We shall see whether the political will is really there to do this, given what the FNM promised the shanty town community in order to get their support in the last election. The chickens will come home to roost. What is required is not ministerial histrionics, but a solid multidisciplinary program, including a conversation with the Bahamian public about what this will really cost taxpayers and why. For public health and national security reasons, this exercise should be done. So that is a statement from Fred Mitchell. I try to avoid talking about the shanty town. I try to. I'm very upset that Dion folks, the grandson of a Haitian woman, is leading this charge. I'm going to have to talk, country talk with Dion. All right? I want the public not to be upset. You have nothing to worry about. Okay? I am a Bahamian citizen. And I am more Bahamian than many of you. Because I trace my ancestry, you hear me? Way back to the beginning of this country. All right? We came on the boat with the Lutheran adventurers. So I can trace my ancestry. I'm an African, and I can trace that. And even though I'm an African, I have in my family a white line. So I can trace myself way back. So watch out for me. Now, Dion folks, ma fache ak nou. Si moi arrive na Abaco, ma kembe nou. Kaze kayo haïtien, nou bat nou. Ma bat ak nou. So I just thought I'll tell that to Dion. Now, I can't say that in English because the police will lock me up.
Yeah, I mean, because they
why don't you keep quiet, my
they have intentions on doing a particular job with someone.
I have to talk to Dion.
Yeah, but
Dion is Haitian, and I'm Haitian. And Dion, Let's don't do no fool now. We are Haitian, and we must look out.
But the mother's a shanty town.
We must look out.
Pigeon P.
Just
They're
one
shanty
second.
towns, man.
My spiritual advisor, would you let me talk to Dion?
Yeah, but you
Me
must
and
be
Dion got the
fair,
same
though.
blood.
He has a job to do.
Dion, là où arrive, dans Abaco, gardez, parce que ma bat
Yeah,
nous.
but he is a public servant. All right, be careful, man. Mr. Malka, come on, man.
What you mean?
Listen, you know one of the
Where were you
one
when
of the
Dion
major
folks
complaints.
used to wake me up 3:30 in the morning?
I forgot. There are a couple of people today who approached me, and here's what they're trying to figure out about
What?
you, right?
What?
They can't seem to understand how do they equate you with an F&M, because you're constantly bashing and beating down the Free National Movement.
Ask the people.
So they're saying, Mr. Roll, we don't understand how Mr. Monka can ever say he's an F&M when he's constantly attacking
What do you
the Free
want
National
me to do?
Movement. Here it is. You
I
know,
attack the
you-
free. Hold on a second, my spiritual advisor. Let me respond to that. I only attack the party when I catch the party doing corruption. It's like how we caught them with this contract. You know what's going on here? You know how much land, Boxer, the Prime Minister brother, they think I fool because I black. Boxer got plenty land. You know what this is?
You must stop spreading propaganda.
What's the propaganda? Boxer! I call on you to turn back, Boxer, turn back! Before I have to land in Freeport and march against you. I don't want to march against you, Boxer. Stop it! Go ahead.
Yeah. So, you know, the government has a job to do. The government says that what they need to do is they need to identify these shanty towns and have them corrected. There's nothing wrong with that. Bahamians in this country, we live at a particular standard. And let me just share this with you. When that storm hit in 2016, let me give an example of what happened in Marshall Road, right? When that storm surge came in and that ocean came into those homes in Marshall Road, before most of those residents could have gotten hooked back up to the BEC grid, you had to get an electrician to come in. If the salt water went over the plugs, an inspection had to be done on the electricals to make sure they were not damaged. Water was in the lines before you can actually be turned back on and connected back to BEC. You had to go to the Ministry of Works, get letters before you can go to BEC. So, I mean, there are standards by which Bahamians are demanded to live by. So why would you have people come into the country and live in substandard areas and do things that's contrary to what Bahamians are regularly, what Bahamians are normally do? So, I mean, the shanty towns have to be dealt with, Mr. Monk. I mean, there's no getting around that. I mean, that is reality. So the government decided they're going to devise a plan. Get in these shanty towns, see where they need to be corrected, get rid of the homes that are living the substandard homes, bulldoze them, whatever have you, and correct those areas. And that is what
Now,
the
when you
unfolding
use the
sector
word
do.
correct, what does
All right,
what
here it
do
is.
they
A
mean?
lot of these homes
They-
are not properly connected
okay,
to BC
so
grid.
we
They don't have
bulldoze
prop-
them, and what is the government going to
you
do?
don't have proper running
What are they
water.
going to do with the
You don't have
citizens?
proper waste disposal.
What are they
all
going
right?
to do with the citizens?
They're going to correct them.
When they bulldoze the citizens' home,
Mm-hmm.
what are they going to do with them?
No doubt some of those homes may be rebuilt.
Goodness
and
of
then
mercy.
they're going to be displaced.
see how
they,
you're
They will
speculating?
be displaced or they will be placed someplace else.
You see how you're speculating?
What else to be done, Mr. Monk?
Anyway,
no doubt the government
I
will
can
fair and
leave
give
it
them ample time to correct or to
to
move.
the minister, to the office of the spouse. Let's see what the office
Yeah,
of
but
the
those
spouse
shanty towns,
comes to.
they have to be corrected though. We can't have people living in the country like
In
that.
the front page, give me the
Which one, the journal?
yeah, let's row over something that is not
The
divisive.
students' protest?
I'm
against
looking at the
UB?
Bahama Journal. There's a headline say UB. UB means University
Of the Bahamas, yes.
of the Bahamas. UB students protest. I don't know who is advising the university students. I have been advising students in this country from about 1980. You hear me? I've been advising students. There was a Negro man who was a student at what was then called the College of the Bahamas. His name is Zendel Forbes. Zendel Forbes hails from South Andres. From time to time, he was an F&M candidate. He was also a lecturer at the College of the Bahamas in mathematics, a brilliant young man in his profession. It is also possible that he is still currently working at the University of the Bahamas. But when the University of the Bahamas was known as the College of the Bahamas, Zendel Forbes emerged as the president of what they call COBAS. But he turned out to be a weak-kneed, jelly student leader. Instead of Zendel march those Negro students into the street, Zendel skipped through the halls of the university and around. At one point, when he attempted to go into the street, the female president of the College of the Bahamas started maybe crying and telling him not to go. As a result of that, history will not be kind to him. There were other students, however, who were influenced by professors who had great political insight. Take, for instance, the Professor Felix Bettel, the Professor Haldane Chase, the Professor Philip Arthur Walter Miller, a former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They, the three Negro men I identified, they were lecturers at the college. How did I know? Because I recruited them. You wouldn't believe that, eh? I recruited Professor Felix Bettel. I recruited Professor Haldane Chase. And I recruited Professor Philip Miller. Now, out of the three, the only two that has never abandoned me has been Professor Felix Bettel and Professor Philip Miller. I don't know where Haldane Chase is, but I do know that they encourage the students. They incite and excited the students on how it is to be done. How am I able to testify? Because I was there. I was there. And I thank God that throughout my life, associating with the high schools, the College of the Bahamas, I've been responsible. Because there was a certain Negro girl. She and I would meet almost by ourselves, late in the night, plotting at the college. But I was unaware that everything we were doing, her mother was monitoring. But I didn't know. But time would turn out that one day the mother revealed to me that that beautiful, brown-skinned, charming girl was her daughter. You hear me? So what is lacking at the university? There is no professor who's giving those students good advice. And if I was advising them, I would tell them to go into the street. It is not a real march. It is not a real demonstration until you go into the public road and then turn south and march towards the Ministry of Education. That's how it's done. You don't pussyfoot around the school. Zendel did that must be 30 years ago. And it turned out to be a faux pas. You go into the street. How I know? Because I have been one of a number of Negro men who had the political responsibility of closing down the high schools and COB. Men like Augustus Fountain, a taxi driver, the late Hilton Forbes, a waiter, Nicola Jacks, a cab driver, Roman Nichols, a defense force officer. I won't call the policeman because he has a high rank, and I don't want them to know that I have loyal police officers in high ranks who helped me close down the schools. And so, that is what is lacking at the university. Now, if you all have a problem, go into the street and march. Dennis Dames did it. 35 years ago, Penland and the PLP neglected C.C. Sweeting. Hall was in the floor and the teacher fall through. And the students, them contemplating burning the school down. And I told them, not the government school, not the people them school. You ain't gonna burn this down. They wanted to know what we're gonna do. I said, we're gonna march to Parliament. We're gonna march to the Ministry of Education. And we marched them up and down. And the College of the Bahamas has not had a good march since 1999. When the Wilson boy, well, he's a grown man, and the attorney, what's his name? Bjorn Ferguson. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I think it's spelled capital B-J-O-R-N. He's an attorney, was a policeman, but he's a lawyer.
Bajan.
How you pronounce it?
I think it's Bajan.
Okay, you pronounce it for me, my spiritual advisor.
How do you spell it again now?
I think it's capital B-J-O-R-N.
Okay.
And Ferguson, capital F-E-R-G-U-S-O-N. And he is an attorney. And I thank God that me and other grassroots young men, laymen, we influence COB from 1980, when a former activist who eventually became a minister, what's his name? Baron Woodside, marched them right out. And the police locked them up. And Edmund Moxie's daughter, she organized the women and they marched on Parliament. And the police locked them up. But Penland was always smart. Told Paul Audley, don't prosecute them. And when they got before the magistrate, Janet Bostwick was the magistrate. And Janet Bostwick, upon hearing the prosecution say they will not continue with the charges, dismissed the charges formally and ordered the police in her presence to turn their fingerprints over to them. It was the first time and the last time I've ever seen it in the history of the modern Bahamas. So, y'all students at the university, y'all go in the streets, eh? Y'all soon graduate, add that to your resume. March up and down and have fun. March up and down, give the police work. Peacefully though. Don't break down nothing, don't burn down nothing, don't curse, at least not in English. But peacefully march and stand up for your rights. It's the time to get involved in political actions. How does it sound, my spiritual advisor?
Well, you advised them pretty good. Yeah.
You like it?
The march, yeah.
Yeah, peacefully.
Make their
don't be like Zendel.
Marching.
Don't be like Zendel. You see? I had my little dossier right there. And I said, the day Zendel Forbes step out of line, I will remind him how he was not man enough to march the students into the street. But Marvin Dames' younger brother, Dennis Dames, was man enough. You hear me? And Dennis' daddy was policeman. The commissioner of police used to send Dennis' daddy to lock him up. Well, I better not say lock him up because his daddies get mad when I say that. But to carry him to police headquarters. And I used to tell the females, y'all rescue Dennis. And they would rescue Dennis by booing and so forth. One day I'll give you the whole story about that. Dennis Dames really is the politician in that family, but Marvin Dames robbed him. Marvin Dames stole Dennis Dames' birthright. You hear me? Isn't that powerful?
That's fair though.
How you mean it's not fair?
How do you say that?
Marvin stole Dennis' birthright.
Wow.
Dennis is supposed to be in the House of Assembly.
So how did Marvin Dames get there?
You want me to really expose him?
Oh, you're something else, boy.
I know. Dennis is the hero
Boy,
in the student struggle.
When
When Dennis marched the students out of C.C. Sweeting on the 3rd of February 1983, a series of events
but
took place.
Dennis Dames told me he's no longer interested in frontline politics.
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
But of course, that's why Marvin is there.
If
he should avail himself.
If they take your birthright, you know the persecution Dennis went through? Huh? I don't want to say it on TV.
Yeah, let's leave that alone.
Dennis has been treated unfairly by the PLP and the FNM. But the FNM treat him the worst. I think they always was jealous of Dennis. Dennis was courageous and so forth. I could see Janet Boswick and C.A. Smith going to C.C. Sweeting to see Dennis and the students them. Watch out for me, eh? I know the history because me and my colleagues, we closed down the schools.
Yeah.
All right? So that's what's going on. What time is it before we go to our walk?
It's the people's time, man.
What time is it?
It's the people's time.
It's the people's time.
I think you have 4 minutes before your break.
Read some text because there's plenty text. And I'm tired.
You're going to get a chance to
Folks,
read this text
guess what happened to me last night? I was doing a study and my computer crashed. And my brother, all I pat that computer. I talked to the computer. I even looked in the monitor. And the computer wouldn't cut on. I couldn't do no work, man. That's why I'm, I couldn't do the work. But there's one Negro man in the Bahamas that I trust to rescue me. C. Allen Johnson. He's in Grand Bahama. If you see C. Allen Johnson, tell him, my computer crashed. Normally, he fixes my computer from Grand Bahama. I just love to see the way he does it. He stays in Grand Bahama, and the next thing I know, I could see things happening. And I would say to him on the phone, what are you doing? He said, I'm fixing it. But now, it crashed. I ain't got no computer. How I can do my work? I do not have a computer. To the woman there, I can't take no emails from you all now. The computer, perhaps it's lived it. I think I had about, 7 or 8 years. And it crashed last night. Now I need a better computer. I think I need an Apple computer, like with a 27-inch screen. Yeah, 27 or 30. I don't want no 21, 27. Apple, but it crashed, okay? So if you all see I answering y'all, I told y'all the computer crashed. But I'm going to hold on to it and hope CA gets the message. Read me some text, my spiritual advisor.
All right, here we go, Mr. Monker. First text. Okay. Mr. Monker, spiritual advisor. How long must we continue to excuse the Prime Minister for making errors in government? I would like to know who is advising him, and if he is being advised properly, is he ignoring the advice? Surely, there are cabinet members who are in cabinet and should be advising PM. This kind of governance does not reflect well on them. Them being Desmond Bannister, Carl Bethel, Dion Folks, Brent Simnett, and the PM himself. This does not speak well of the Ingram governance either. Good afternoon, Mr. Monker and spiritual advisor. Mr. Monker, when the government bulldozed the shanty towns, what happens next? By now, these people had more than enough time to find a relative or rent an apartment. Thousands of Bahamians rent. I'm sure most of them are working. Why are these people treated more special? I want to ask Mr. Monker, what is happening with the people whose homes were destroyed in the hurricane? Did the government do what they had promised to do in helping them?
Yet they could find $10,000 for Tea Party. All right?
Mr. Monker, you something else. Let's see. Today, good afternoon, Mr. Monker and spiritual advisor. You think only Haitians live in those shanty towns? No, many Bahamians live there also.
Yes.
What do you call those homes in Baintown and Wolf Road? Spiritual advisor, you're wrong to say that. Yeah.
Okay.
It was lamb skins or some animal skin. Yes, you're correct. I did correct myself by sending a text to the line.
I'm receiving, put this camera on me, breaking news that Centerville MP Reese Chipman might have bucked his big toe and was fired. I'm investigating it. To the Negro people, is it true that Reese has been fired? This is what text they're sending to me. Reese, Hold on. Help and hope is on the way.
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
I gone. I'm live. Breaking news, breaking news. We're now hearing from a Negro source, and you know I trust my Negro sources, that Centerville Member of Parliament Reese Chipman has been fired. Apparently, it isn't too clear because I had to, goodness of mercy, I am live. I'm on TV, so you better don't say anything because these things are sensitive. You see my point? So I'll talk to you afterward, okay? Breaking news, coming straight out of the government. Centerville Member of Parliament Reese Chipman has been fired. According to Negro sources, it is linked to this Oban's energy deal. I can't figure out why Reese would be linked to that. And I'm being told that a Dr. Tinker, there's some mix-up. But those two Negroes apparently are linked to Oban's. My sources are right on the phone, but I've said to them, you better hang up because these things Saban's got here is pick up your voice. So that is the report that we're receiving. Centerville Member of Parliament Reese Chipman is the first Negro F&M to be terminated. And it looks like it smells. You know, I ain't sure. But it looks like it's pointing towards some kind of corruption. Well, I know that Reese is not a corrupt man. But he's now the first fall guy, and we are told it is linked to Oban's. So I don't know what's going on. And my documents...
What duties has he been relieved of?
He was in charge of monument and so forth.
Antiquities, okay.
And antiquities.
Okay. Right.
I have my documents, but show and tell Mondays. Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
Hello?
Yes?
Hi, Mr. Monk. How you doing?
I am fine. What's on your mind?
You just told me to call. This is the lady who won the tickets.
You won the tickets?
Yes, I did.
You didn't get your tickets?
No, sir.
Did you went here to the studio?
Yes, I did. March 6th was my aunt. I didn't get it.
Okay, and did you speak to anybody who ought to know? What happened to the woman ticket? She answered the question of March 6th. I'm being told, did you go to the front desk?
No.
Well, come back, go to the front desk, because, this is the St. James Anglican. They're having it, I think, on Good Friday, or is it Easter Monday? April 2nd, whatever date that is. But it's here.
So just bring my answer. I text answering.
Yeah, well, come. The man told me that the ticket is here.
Tell her cell phone number be on the back of the ticket.
And your cell phone number should be on the back
of the ticket.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Okay.
So come back, go to the front desk. Okay?
Okay, thank you much.
This is fine. Hello? Anybody else on the phone?
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. My spiritual advisor, if you would just keep talking, I would...
You want me to read some of this?
I would slip away so that I can be brief.
Do you have to be brief now?
2.
I mean,
of course I want to be brief. If Minister is
fresh
firing
news.
them,
you can
I
always
need
find
to know.
on Monday what's going on. You want me to read some text in the meantime, Dan?
Read text. Put the camera on the spiritual advisor.
Let's see. What do we have here?
Producer.
What's this person doing?
Mr. Producer. Goodness me, the producer isn't paying attention to me. Knock on that window so that Negro man will hear that I'm speaking to him. Put the camera on the spiritual advisor and come disconnect me. Let me talk to my sources.
Mr. Monica, did you speak to the death of a senior man in the MCM, William Bullitt? I think you did.
Yes, we did announce that William Bullitt has passed away. I know William Bullitt personally. His wife hails from Black Village. William Bullitt is a good man, a good F&M. All right?
Good day, Mr. Monica and Spiritual Advisor. Wow, Bahama was so crowded. What an awesome hotel.
It is. Yes.
Mr. Monica, good day. I think we may be in trouble with this F&M crew, fumbling and bumbling left, right, and center. How could you sign a deal on behalf of the people only to benefit a few? Hundreds of jobs. What a disgrace. Not a dollar in taxes. It's not as if when there is an environmental accident, the government would agree. Hold on, let me see. Okay, it's not as if when there is an environmental accident, ministers agree that the government can only get $3.5 million in restitution to get the area back to what it was. So that it means that the accident cost $7 million to get the place back to what it's supposed to be. The taxpayers of this country has to dig in their own pockets to fix this crisis. Mr. Bethel, the Honorable Member Carl Bell the Attorney General is very quiet on this deal. He's just as quiet as when Mr. Ingram demoted him on the convention floor.
Read text, Vice President.
This is a very lengthy text. When the cameras went on Carl, he was red in the face. Shame. Mr. Monica, whenever minister comes to Freeport to discuss this with the people, it's going to be total chaos. I thought Christie was a bad prime minister, but minister has caused me to change my mind on that particular view. Mr. Monica, right now the EU is telling us we need corporate tax. And the Prime Minister tells Oban that they don't have to pay any tax. What sense does this make? Seems as if the crew is trying to recoup Crown land from persons, but give away almost 1,000 acres of Crown land so Oban can look for investors. But I do think that the government is going to lease that land for $1.2 million a year, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Monica, Miss Loretta Butler Turner is just sitting back laughing at those who I could see. Mr. Monica, there is nothing showing on Flow2Go, and the website stream is down. I think that's a BTC issue, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Sorry. Forgive me. Good morning. Thanks for exposing the lies on Fred Smith and that booklet that you were reading yesterday. The pictures, photos of law enforcement from other countries. Thank you, Mr. Monica. Let's see, what else to... good day, I missed your show yesterday, Mr. Monica, and I'm able to catch your show today, but I'm being informed that you had a Chinese herbalist on your show yesterday. My problem today is why I'm unable to tune into your show is because I'm at work. Can you please text me the information of that Chinese herbalist to my phone? Okay, all right. I understand that. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's go to blessings, gentlemen. There are so many smoke screens. We need jobs. Advisor, be honest. What grade would you give the F&M? What grade would you give Mr. Monica? Be honest and true. Breaking news. Breaking news. We understand that the police wants to talk to Omar Archer. Okay, we don't know anything about that. All right, let's go to right here, Mr. Monica. The statement from Fred Mitchell is why the PLP should never ever govern this country again. The PLP is responsible for 90% of the immigration problem in this country. All right, next text. The government is not funding Carnival. It's a private entity. And they removed the word Junkanoo from the name. Okay, fair enough. Sorry. I wouldn't read that one. Good day, gentlemen. As one of the women there, but if you keep bigging up these Haitians, Mr. Moncur, I will no longer be calling to your show. Haitians needs to go home. Mr. Moncur, you seem to look very intelligent today, but you're wrong. We Long Islanders don't harbor Haitians on the island.
Get me on air. Am I on? Am I on? My spiritual advisor, I left the studio because I received a coded message. We are receiving news report that the Prime Minister fired Reese Chipman, the Member of Parliament for Centerville, according to a Negro source deep within the party. The allegation goes like this, that Reese Chipman had evidence that was politically damaging to Dr. King, Dr. Tinker. But apparently Dr. Tinker got to the Prime Minister before Reese could get, and then dropped a bumsucky there. So the Prime Minister, apparently he is closer with Tinker than he is with Reese. So he fired Reese. I want Reese Chipman to know that I have great admiration for his grandfather, John Chipman, and Freedom March is open to him. And I can't accommodate him on Monday because I have a live representatives here. But I would like for him to take my cell. My number is 434-5760. And you are free to come here and defend your reputation. Because whatever they say about you, Reese, I know you ain't no crook. I always know you are an honest, upright professional. You hear me? And I'm not going to allow the F&M to do this to you. And I want you to be strong and stand up, because your constituency have a right to know what this is. All right? So you have the opportunity. Call me. Let's meet early so we can decide how we're going to handle this. Because that is the allegation, my spiritual advisor, that Reese Chipman was in possession of sensitive political information on Dr. Tinker.
Who is Dr. Tinker?
Dr. Tinker is a Negro who was responsible for using $2.something million to either refurbish or reconstruct or something to do. You know how the F&M go. Things are never transparent. And Reese Chipman felt that something was not right. But Tinker could run faster. And Tinker and the Prime Minister is like this. So Bushcrack, Reese gone. All right? Means that the people of Centerville could forget Monument. The fellow who told me he wanted the contract to paint the water tower, he could forget that. The fellow who told me he wants the contract to take care of the 66th step, well, it was never 66, because one is buried in the ground. You can forget that. Reese gone. Gone! G-O-N-E. And guess what? Oban name is surfacing. Can you imagine it? They just signed the contract on the 19th of February. And Reese firing. There is the scent of Oban. I don't know what's going on. Don't know what is going on. But it's Friday. And this is the time when these things happen. And so the question is, what Reese can do? Ministers fire you for Tinker. And Tinker ain't got no seat. But ministers like Tinker better than he like you. So that's life. Read text, my spiritual advisor.
Let's read the rest of this.
Let's see what all is going on. But yeah.
Here we go.
Read text. Let me see what they sent to me. You have more text, my spiritual advisor?
LLC was appointed manager of the company on March 12, 2018. The document is dated March 9, 2018 and signed by Oban Energies non-executive chairman Peter Krieger,
Yes.
who sparked controversy after he signed what government officials later would said was a ceremonial
Raise that right now.
document signing. Okay.
This is powerful.
Here's the next text. Good afternoon. Sorry. Good day, Mr. Monica and the spiritual advisor. I hope all is well with you guys. Mr. Monica, I need you to persuade a lady by the name of Gano Thurston to follow your leadership, for she's been influenced by foreign ideology that makes your leadership appear ridiculous to the majority
Really?
of the women. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Certainly, I'm going to have to meet with her. Woman, I'm going to need you to submit, eh? Don't listen to the foreigners, okay? Unless they're talking about the gospel.
By the way, Mr. Monica, the volume is low. My TV volume is at 100 and it sounds like 20.
Really? The Oban project deal signing should be taken to court for evaluation. An office of the spouse is not necessary, essential. That's two texts that I've just read. And there's another text here. I will be up in the march to my son Rashad. He's attending the University of the Bahamas from Ginger. Ginger, that's the kind of woman I like. Support your son when he's doing positive things. Get to the university and encourage the students to go into the streets and let them march. Go ahead. You have another text?
Good evening to you both. Mr. Advisor, you need to stop getting emotional to get the facts together on this citizenship matter. Many persons apply at 18 and 19, but the amount of unnecessary stuff they ask for is crazy. And when the government is close to the election, they're able to grant citizenship with just the local documents there. So it's not a fair and honest system. But remember, advisor, stand up with Christ and love and stop coming across.
That is true.
As you're talking, I'm not talking with hate.
There is still nothing showing on Flow TV to go.
That's the BT.
And the website stream is done. Okay?
Good afternoon, Senator. You can play QC lawyer and judge. You were the first one to let us know that the documents were fraud. It was true. Continue to educate, and may God bless you on your show.
I thank you. I played lawyer, judge, magistrate. I'm going to be playing another role, but I have to practice it. All right?
I don't need to do that. Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Monk, tell Senator that Fred Smith is responsible for that. Okay, yeah, I read that before.
This is one of the women them.
Read it
Please
before.
mention Blake Road again. Down there so stink. All the people in the training center complaining. That's how bad it is. When y'all can do something with the Blake Road Training Center, the women them are complaining, man. Oh, my Negro
Good,
people.
Mr. Monk,
Mr. Monke, you are a handsome old man and you do look smart. I thank you.
Okay, we salute Prime Minister of the Bahamas on Chief Magistrate Pratt Ferguson. Continue to sing and both send both. No, I can't finish reading that one.
Yeah, Haitian people can on like rodents in the bush, having a bunch of. Listen, I don't want you to do that, hey? If you talk in a disparaging manner about the Haitian people, I will find that offensive. You could criticize illegal immigration, but you're not to send me this kind of disparaging remarks. You hear me? Don't do that. But the Haitian are my people, and I love them with all my heart. Go ahead.
Mr. Monka, I'm wondering what has happened with Tennyson Wells. I understand he is quietly running one of those government agencies. Is it true? Can you shine light on this? Because he is awfully quiet. Remember, he was married with the PLP because he didn't get a deal, and he didn't like the Ingram administration.
Mr. Monka, why do you praise the woman them but forget the man them? That's because you've not been to meeting. Don't forget, this woman organization, the women are the floor members and the men are in leadership. Women are not allowed to hold role. We must lead them safely away from gender equality because it is the works of the devil. Okay? I salute the men, but I call upon the men to love the women, love the children, and build communities. Go ahead, my spiritual advisor.
Mr. Monka, it is wrong. It's wrong, Mr. Monka, and it's against God's laws to sweetheart. If you're married and outside children they have no rights.
You stop that.
I know it's not the children's fault, but you talk about everything else. That's wrong, Mr. Monica.
No.
It's a sin.
Well, sweethearting, we shouldn't sweetheart. It's not good for your prostate. Okay? But the children must be taken care. There is a senior F&M gentleman. If I ever kept sweetheart, I'd like to be like him. If I ever had children outside of my marriage, I'd like to be like him.
How so?
He does not discriminate. He sent all of the children to the best school in the nation, St. Andrews. Everybody go there. I mean, it's just wonderful. Everybody is given an equal head start. You hear me? If there was a man that I could give an award to, it is that distinguished F&M. He's sweetheart, he knows it is wrong, but he takes good care of the wife. He takes good care of the sweetheart. And both women children attend the most prestigious university in the United States. Lord, I know he has sinned, but I thank you that he is committed to giving all of his children an equal opportunity at education. May they call him Blessed Father, and in his old days, may they take good care of him, for he is one of the man them. It's powerful. Ah, my spiritual advisor, you stop reading text. We only got about 5 minutes. It's Friday. Marvin Dame say crime is down. Yeah. Let's help him to keep crime down.
Well, yeah, we're hoping that everybody...
What are we going to say to the people then?
Well, Mr. Monica, as usual, you know, it's a weekend again. We're hoping people have a safe weekend.
Yes.
And do, you know, some of those positive things that will help, you know, build the community.
Yes.
You know, we hope our young men would find positive things to do.
This is true.
Stay away from guns, drugs, violence.
Yeah.
You know,
no domestic violence.
You know, alcohol.
To the woman them, please, no murder. To the man them, please, don't beat the woman. No domestic violence, all right? I want you all to stop it. To the pastors, if you're returning to the family island, make sure you hold on to your bags. You don't want drugs to show up in your bag, and you don't know. Because, you know, this is a very insensitive society. So, pastors, be careful, eh? Try not to break the law. And guard your bag so that you will not be accused. And to those of you pastors, would you please take care of your outside children? There's a young man who's identified a bishop as his dad. And he's asked me if he could come on the show. And I said to him, allowing you to come on the show would only upset the bishop's wife. I don't know if I want you to upset the bishop's wife.
Wow.
Right? Why don't you make peace with her first? Talk to her. See what she says. He says she doesn't know. And I think the pastor, in view of his stand, he really should look out for the young boy. All right? Because I've suggested something to him. I have a first cousin named Phyllis. And you know, Bishop Ross Davis owed her some money, and he wouldn't pay her. So she got up early one Sunday and went to revival. And then they called her up to the front of the church to testify. My first cousin started to curse. And she told the congregation, if Bishop Davis don't pay her money. And all the deacons quickly grab her and rush her in the back room. And they signed one of the biggest checks for her. That's what my first cousin did. Nobody called the police. I'm thinking that he should go to the church and confess that he's the bishop's son. But for now, let's laugh. Let's have fun. Look, life is serious. let's be responsible, let's be respectful, let's don't break no law, let's don't harm anyone. Women, control your emotions. Men, control your emotions, right? Too much violence in this society. And if Marvin James is speaking the truth, that crime has decreased significantly.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
I think it's a good thing. Okay? Let there be peace. How that sound, my spiritual advisor?
Absolutely. Let
And
there be peace
let
on
it
earth,
start
man.
with me and you.
And you, absolutely.
Yeah, this is
Have
powerful.
a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah. Look, take it care. I'm hearing things. I'm hearing things.
What are you hearing?
I hear music. Oi! Come on, spiritual advisor.
What is that? Is that John Canoe music?
It's John Canoe.
Oh, it's John Canoe.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's John Canoe.
Take good care.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Godspeed.
Let's go to Hawaii. Let's go to Potter's Gate. Let's go for the fish fry. Let's go somewhere. This is Freedom March. Please take good care. I'm on my way to Bahama. I'm going to join the taxi cab line because Bahama got plenty tourists. Tourism is up because of Bahama. Perry Christie, Philip Ray Davis, and the PLP should be proud of Bahama's success story. Take it care. Good night.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
weekend, everybody.
Mali.
Till we meet again. God richly bless and guide.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.